This one I thought was interesting just for kind of inspiration for thought on what's your plan after OnlyFans. So this person writes, if you don't plan on doing OnlyFans forever, what is your plan for the future? I've been doing it for 2 years full time, and the possibility of having to get a job is terrifying. I know I want to start another business, but I have no idea what, as everything requires you to have a quote reputation, and it seems like most people look down at sex work, unfortunately. So this thread has like 157 comments. I didn't read through all of them at all, but this top one I thought was so good, and there is so much feedback on it. She says, look at Lisa Ann. She has a radio show on sports. Guess who her boss is? ABC, Disney. You follow your passion and become the best. I love sex work. I love how much I've learned and continue to learn as technology changes. And I started out doing lingerie shows and stripograms at 21, and I'm now 55. The money and how to do it has evolved, and I evolved with it. I have been shaking my tits for money forever, and I don't plan to stop. The money to do it is way easier and better to do it, which makes me an incredible salesperson to make men pay to see my tits despite having over 1 billion views on all the sex tube sites. There are now plenty of women in the industry for 10, 20, 30 years still making good money. It is misogyny that tells us we only have a few good years to make money. And honestly, why believe men when they say anything? If you want a different life, different challenges, then go for it. Don't let what others think stop you from your goals and dreams. There are always roadblocks in life. Overcoming them is half the fun.
This kind of goes into kind of what we've talked about on this podcast a handful of times, which is the whole, personal branding side of things. Because there's like with OnlyFans, there's kind of like, the direct response cash grab marketing methods, which is just like, spamming Reddit and spamming TikTok with thirst traps and stuff like that. But like, if you kind of get outside of that and you start building an actual personal brand, then you can kind of pivot into anything after OnlyFans. You can pivot into, any kind of health and wellness and take brand deals, or, there's just a million things that you can do if you kind of have like a personal brand outside of that just blatant spam thirst trap style of content. And you can really grow something big and pivot into basically anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if you want to ride, like, don't feel any pressure to, like, there's not an age window for this. I think everyone has their limits, like where they ideally will kind of be done with it. And sometimes that changes. Like when I first started, said that I probably wouldn't do it past 40, but like that doesn't seem that far away to me anymore. And I could see myself doing this I could easily do it for another 10 years, probably.
Well, yeah, we've seen, with some of the guests that have been on this podcast, age is not really a thing. There's plenty of older ones that are doing really, really well. And, yeah, I don't think that has any.
Yeah. So if anyone's ever telling you that you're getting too old to do this, that's not true. There's literally like 70-year-olds with OnlyFans pages, and there is a market for everything.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is just like, instead of, like we've mentioned before, instead of kind of looking at OnlyFans as the end all be all, look at what you're doing as becoming a social media business, not necessarily just an OnlyFans business, but a social media business where OnlyFans is just one component of your business. And then it's not, and then you're not fully dependent on that one thing. And whether you want to monetize through OnlyFans or through brand deals or through ad revenue or for, this and that, all that becomes available once you have, like an actual personal brand and stuff like that.
Like that girl that we saw in that show last night. She started doing OnlyFans when she was like 50.
Well, yeah, we were watching this. Was that on Netflix?
It's on Hulu.
Hulu thing. They were talking about some of the famous actresses that did OnlyFans. She was the girl on Sopranos.
Yeah, Sopranos.
Yeah, she was on The Sopranos, and then she basically started a business right before the pandemic, and then, you know, the world shut down, and she kind of almost went broke, and then started OnlyFans, and then that kind of saved her through that period.
Well, and then so she doesn't do nudes at all. She was explaining that she mostly has a subscription price, and then she does like paid lives, free and paid lives, and then she does cameo type stuff, which is brilliant because she's iconic for like that genre in television. Like everybody knows who she is. And so I thought that was really cool, but she said she was acting, you know, obviously in the early 2000s, whatever. She had a couple kids, and then the pandemic came, and as everyone knows, like Hollywood kind of shut down largely during that time. And then when things picked back up, she had a hard time finding gigs or jobs. And so she was suggested to start OnlyFans, and she did, and she doesn't do nudes, and she still was able to like totally turn her financial situation around. And then off the back of that, she's starting a clothing line, she said.
I don't remember. Yeah, something like that. They were trying to launch something.
Her and her partner had this really cool, I forget what the name of the brand is, but they're starting like a clothing line, and they said they were able to start that, and they're funding that project with OnlyFans. And she's like in her mid-50s or something. She looks fucking amazing, and she is having fun.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
But even her, like not doing nudes and everything like that, she was getting just as much hate from all the red pill people as anybody else. So like that's just one more point to prove that it doesn't matter what you do. Like you're just going to get a ton of hate from everywhere. Obviously, you know, specifically from the red pill groups and stuff like that. But like, it doesn't matter what you do. You're just going to get hate no matter what. So just do whatever you want and just go for it.